Welcome to CTV News Trendline with Michael Stittle and Nik Nanos.
Former Bank of Canada Governor Stephen Poloz was quoted recently about how he actually thinks that Canada is in a recession currently. I want to read you this, Nik. He says, "I would say we're in a recession. I wouldn't even call it a technical one. A technical one is a superficial definition that you have 2 quarters of negative growth in a row, and we haven't had that. But the reason is because we've been swamped with new immigrants who buy the basics in life, and that boosts our consumption enough." So basically, that buying is masking an actual recession.
Yeah, actually, the the immigration policy is masking a recession. And the other thing that's masking a recession is the tremendous increase in the size of the federal government. You know, when the government adds to its payroll, that doesn't help with GDP productivity, I'll tell you that much, because they're not in the private sector or the nonprofit kind of generating things. They're in the public sector. But, the thing is that, our unemployment rate, which is now there's some pressure on unemployment in terms of it going up. If the government, I think whether the Liberals are in power, the Conservatives are in power, there's going to be some right sizing in government just because it's grown so much over the last 5 years. 5 years especially. So, in addition to the immigration, we've got jobs numbers that are going to get worse. And it speaks to the environment that we're in. So buckle up. I think maybe that's one of the big takeaways. We should be buckling up because it's not going to be great for 2025.
Nik, Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland, her fall economic update is coming up quite soon in just a few days. What are you expecting from that?
I think she's going to be on the defensive, defending the HST, GST tax holiday and defending her assertion that the $250 check to people making up to $150,000 is a good idea. Usually these economic statements are times for the government to get their message out, to talk about the wonderful job that they're doing, kind of a little bit of an infomercial, try to change the trend line. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And the Liberals have done this to themselves. It's not like the Conservatives forced them to have this idea of the $250 check or the HST tax holiday. The Liberals decided to do that themselves. The Liberal government, it's increasingly kind of like those Charles Dickens novels. They get their, the one character, they get their comeuppance. Mm-hmm. Well, holy moly, right? They do stuff like this. Should they really be surprised that the numbers don't move? Because every time they try to do something to move the numbers, it's like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back for the Liberals. And that's why they're in a hole where they're like, at 23% nationally, while the Conservatives are at 42% nationally.